See if it kicks in. We'll see. And we're live. Just checking all the sources here. Going over to WP LaunchKit. To always like to check to make sure that we are live. And I'm going to turn off the mic. Beth, give me a validation if you're the same way. It looks like it's kicking in. Great. Good to see you again, Beth. Not that I don't see you or talk to you almost every day now, but today we're going to do something a little different, aren't we? We're experimenting. Kick that mic in, Beth. Today we're going to be talking. Today I'm dragging you. Are your dogs running around the house? I know that's often the case, right?
Yeah. No, I hit the...
I'm putting you on the spot. Okay. When you're ready to kick in, you kick in. What we're going to do today is we're doing something a little different. Because this week, we introduced LaunchKit to Go. And I had, oh my gosh, so many folks that came to me. I usually do 6 to 12 calls a week for my work with WP Fusion and the other software authors in WordPress. But in the LaunchKit conversations, everybody kept coming up asking me about Go HighLevel, Go HighLevel. And I really understand what they're talking about because Go HighLevel, if you're not familiar, is a CRM. Let's add it into the stage here. Hold on. Go HighLevel is a CRM that is basically one of 58 CRMs that does an amazing job of understanding what WordPress implementers, creators, people that are just like 2023 business type people want. In other words, they imagine themselves, just like you and I have talked about so many times, and I've been talking about for 18 years, running a business where they're, 2 steps ahead of their friends, their colleagues, the people that they are familiar with. And Go HighLevel sales tactic, unlike Salesforce or HubSpot or Drip or any of the other ones, is really about, we're giving you an all-in-one package, a dashboard of stuff that will take care of everything under the sun, make you breakfast in the morning, drive your kids to school, walk your dogs. And while there are certain claims that they make that are true, the devil is always in the details. And I actually, of all the 58 different CRMs, feel that they do offer an incredible value and they offer a very capable product. But today what I want to do is to reveal, shine the objective light on what it really means when you choose a SaaS CRM to run your WordPress implementer business versus using an all-native WordPress solution like we're offering at LaunchKit. Because the differences are significant. And I would rather be like the kid in the Emperor's New Clothes story where I'm saying, look, you can choose, but here's the facts. And if I'm ever wrong about the facts, I have made my reputation on, I just care about the facts. So if you show me I'm wrong, let's share it with everybody, not you, but like if one shows me I'm wrong, because I want everybody to have the facts. And just a full disclaimer, I have never been into affiliate marketing. I can rarely think of any time I've ever taken affiliate money, except for maybe in the past, Cloudways occasionally would send me money if people used it, but I don't even talk about that. There are other people in our business who make their entire living on affiliate marketing. And what bothers me about that is you see this with the SaaS companies particularly, but also in WordPress. You see like today they're talking about this and tomorrow they're talking about that, but there's really no explanation as to why they changed their minds other than, oh, I see, they're getting a referral link from both. Okay. So today we're going to talk about, in the context of a WordPress implementer, the kinds of things that are relevant when comparing the LaunchKit solution to HighLevel. And by the way, I'm not sure if they still call it Go HighLevel. I think they used to call it Go HighLevel because that's the domain they've got. They probably couldn't get it.
It's really important to point out because, like, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago, when I kind of started down this path, it's very seductive, right? To see all these different things. And like you're saying, these messages from these affiliates. But when you don't really understand every little detail of it, it's hard to compare and know what to do. And of course, you're looking for a solution to simplify and get your client onboarded. So I think this is a really important discussion that we have so people can really understand what's going on.
And let's further emphasize a couple things because I keep flipping because I want to be sure everybody sees the visuals if you're watching this on video. When somebody goes to the Go HighLevel page, they're really clear. I do appreciate amazing clarity. So Their catchline is, we help agencies and marketers thrive with our all-in-one sales and marketing platform. And then it says, for agencies by an agency. They have quite literally scratched their own itch, and they have set this up like, look, instead of gathering all this random stuff in the SaaS world, we're going to give it to you. And their pricing, we'll talk about in a minute, is interesting. But that's what I love about the clarity, because we're saying exactly the same thing, except for a few key differences. I'm saying the LaunchKit helps WordPress familiar creators, either the end users, the implementers, or somebody who has a bigger business with clients, to have a WordPress-based solution without going to the WordPress flea market, without having 70,000 things to choose from, without having to have 24 different relationships with subscriptions and licenses and stuff. So I love the parallel. Here's the big catch. When we talk about this, one of the key points is, how and why do you connect two worlds together versus having it all in one world? Because my expertise can demonstrate that for 9 out of 10 people, they don't need a separate platform like Go High Level. They need everything in one box on WordPress for ownership and control and whatever, because those calls I mentioned, those 12 calls a week, maybe 25%, 3 or 4 of them are Go High Level. How do I connect my Go High Level courses to my WordPress site for my clients? Oh, how do I do snapshots of my WordPress stuff? How do I do this on WordPress? They've now got a Tesla and they've got a Chevy Corvette, and they have 2 cars attached to each other instead of 1 car, when 1 car would do. And there's a lot of benefits of that. So objectively, I just want to start today by saying, we're not in direct competition with Go High Level, because High Level is first and foremost a CRM. And the things that we'll talk about today very clearly differentiate it. But what we are saying is, for a good majority maybe of WordPress curious end users, business owners, creators, implementers, we have everything you need internal to the thing you own and control. And the economy of scale and all the other things are what we use to scratch our itch for 18 years. And now we can deliver to everybody in a way that you can have either self-hosted or hosted with us, or you can have the marketplace of accessories and get all of the value proposition, what High Level does, but with none of the downsides. Having said that, let's dive right in. By the way, today is sponsored by Orgain Protein Shakes. So delicious. When I come off of my 5-mile morning walks, I have an Orgain shake with protein mixed with a little green tea matcha. If I'm a little bouncy, it's because of that. Okay, let's start. Nobody said I had to be serious. By the way, welcome to everybody who's joining us live today. If you have any questions, please do click into the chat of the YouTube, or you can just use the wplaunchify.com site and type it in. We'll answer it here. We always appreciate that. On to the slide part of the show, and I'm going to use this just to get people in context, so that if you're coming here new, I am Spencer Foreman. I've been in the WordPress space for 18 plus years. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've been helping freelancers and business owners since I was 10 years old, really. But lately, I help people who are WordPress curious, WordPress involved, to make WordPress-based solutions, because WordPress now runs almost 46% of the internet, and yet it's still being operated, like I said, as a flea market. My aim in 2023 and beyond, self-professed into all my public space, has been to make WordPress a service that anybody can use to immediately get started, like Legos, like IKEA. And those other people who are my colleagues who make the software like I do, all agree this is the future of WordPress. We've reached the state where it has to evolve into something as simple and easy to use as what we're talking about, rather than spending hours and days and weeks and months of confusion trying to constantly adjust ever-changing pieces. So that's been my focus forever. But my superpower is that everything I do is a human relationship. You can call me and literally talk to me live if I've never met you, for free. Why? Because 9 out of 10 people who do that start telling me all their problems, and they end up paying me something gladly for one of the solutions or for consultative help. Today, we are going to focus, hello, by the way, to Dr. Carrie Krieger and other creators. Today, here are the 5 topics we're going to cover, which are really just a fraction, but I think they cover a good majority of the things that these two platforms do. Number one, marketing automation. I'm going to define these, by the way, but let's run through them. Number two, having a built-in CRM, a customer relationship management tool, CRM. As we used to say when I was a pilot, Charlie, Romeo, Mike. Roger that. Number three, landing pages and funnels. You need to sell and track people's progress. That's really the appeal of most of these modern SaaS-based CRMs. Email marketing and newsletters. That's the communication channel for which you traditionally used to use just a regular list, but now combined with the marketing automation becomes something much more, because people can get exactly what they want when they want it when you track their journey. And then finally, and this was one of the questions that came up this week, somebody was like, hey, do you have anything with the WP Fusion or other plugins? You got anything that will make the course presentation better and go high level? And I said, absolutely. It's LearnDash inside your WordPress site. Because courses, lessons, and quizzes are oftentimes the main deliverable for most people who are offering things in an online site, right? We have things like events, or registering for one-to-one consultations. We can do things like physical products, digital products, but really, for many people, the format of courses or workshops that have lessons and quizzes in them, and that's really the main, deliverable these days. Okay. So I'll leave this slide up, but I'm going to minimize it maybe. Well, let's put both of us in there. Let's see what we can figure out. What happens when you do that? That's fine. I don't know which of these. I'm asking as an experiment, because if we talk about marketing automation, I'd like it to still be on the screen, but I'd like us both to be here. Let's try this one.
That's good.
All right. So let's talk, what exactly is marketing automation? And I want to do some screen sharing also to show the difference. Let me set the stage. Up until about, I'm going on memory, about 4 years ago, maybe 3, there was no CRM. Well, no, I'm going to take a step back, because I don't want to mix number 3. I don't want to mix number 2 and number 1, but let me tell a story. What exactly does marketing automation mean? Okay, marketing automation means that you track a user or a prospect or a customer's journey through your sales funnel, through your content, through your stuff, and using typically a metaphor, I use the show and tell, of tags and custom fields. So for example, somebody's a prospect, and we talked last week about how you could do a form to onboard a lead magnet, right? Somebody comes in, you give them a tag to identify in your CRM that, oh, this person expressed interest in my lead magnet about, I don't know, plugins or something, this course, that course. Now, the marketing automation bit is that tag could do a number of different things. Primarily, it can trigger an automation that allows something to be sent via email, but it could also, good morning, everybody. It could also trigger something in the WordPress space on the website itself. So for example, Spence clicked on this thing to submit his, for the lead magnet form. Spence went to this page. Spence attended this webinar. Spence did click, saw, and did all these things. Now, these are all triggers or potential triggers for sending out email, but also adjusting the visibility and the style of the WordPress website. We're going to talk about the comparison when you're using HighLevel versus WordPress, because if you are asking yourself, what is the main reason why marketing automation may be easier to do all in WordPress? I'm saying, if you're already having the person's interaction start on WordPress, you're using WordPress forms, you're selling a WordPress product, you've got courses in LearnDash, you've got sales and landing pages that, like we show, built with Cadence. What the heck do you need to be doing over in the CRM? Only one thing: the actual marketing automation, logic, the funnels, the CRM bit. And it's absolutely possible to have your WordPress and a separate CRM, but that's not the pitch of HighLevel. HighLevel is saying, we want you to bring all of the WordPressy kind of CMS stuff over to us. We want you to build websites. We want you to do your sales pages. We want you to do your funnels. And we want your clients to do it too. But that gets you into a really weird position, right? Because let's use that metaphor I was talking about of, are you going to use WordPress anyway? Because if you are, You're an expert in WordPress. You own a WordPress. You control WordPress. It's in a box. Why do you want to bring those things over? And let's do a little visual here because I think this will help too. So one of my clients was very gracious enough to let me use this. I'm trying to keep them anonymous. This is like a typical dashboard of Go High Level. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I got to be honest with you. When I look at this and I say, I'm a newbie who comes in and I am given this, nobody's going to tell me right out of the box that this is easy or simple. It reminds me 100% exactly of WordPress. I mean, if I was coming in here from zero, I would have exactly the same amount of like, what am I supposed to do here? Now, almost everybody who is using Go High Level with this agency plan has told me they very rarely, if ever, show this dashboard to their customers. The customers are typically given what? Access to the WordPress site. Why? Because WordPress is where the client is doing all the management. Well, let's go over here. Here's a WordPress site. This is the LaunchKit. Now, remember, the difference between the two of this, if you're going to use WordPress anyway, you're going to have this. If this already has built into it the marketing automation and directly can control what things look like or the access or the visibility or tracking the user's journey, why do you need to send them to the CRM other than for the marketing automation with the CRM part? And as we'll talk about in the next one, we've already built in Fluent CRM. We've already got that built in here. So for no extra cost, no extra hassle, no other liability, you've got basically a comparable interface with both of them requiring, let's be honest, you have to babysit or spoon feed your customers, right? You're going to have to make it as simple as possible. But there are tools, by the way, in WordPress that we use, and they're included in LaunchKit, like admin menu editor, right? So with the admin menu editor tool, I'm literally just show you live here. You could go under, for your client, settings, menu editor pro, and you can modify for that particular owner exactly what they see just by adjusting which things are visible and, you know, highlighted and so forth. Okay, so kind of back to the point. When it comes to marketing automation, you can track on WordPress 100% what somebody sees and clicks and does and buys. You can give tags and take away tags. You can use the tags people have or the field values to change the color of the site or the visibility of the site, to change the search results, log people in. You can do everything 100%. If, on the other hand, you have High Level or another CRM, you can still connect your LaunchKit solution to that using the WP Fusion connector or plugin. But then I ask you that question, why? What are you getting from Go High Level other than a second car like hitched onto your first car? If you think you can do it all in High Level, you're, based on the facts, I can say you are mistaken, because every single one, 100% of the people who have Go High Level have come to me because Go High Level does not have anywhere near the things that WordPress has for flexibility or expandability or control, or even when they compare something, we'll talk about snapshots. In WordPress, you can build exactly what your client needs and nothing else, and own it and control it and sell it like with 2 seconds, you know, boom, and they clone it. With Go High Level, they have to all start with like set up the account, install a snapshot, and then make all of the adjustments to whatever has to happen on WordPress anyway. So I'll pause on that in case you're feeling groovy and you want to throw in on that topic, on the marketing automation.
Yeah. So from the standpoint of, you know, servicing clients and working with clients, you know, the big part is helping report back, right? That the journey you were talking about, and having those things separate in two different places, trying to pull a report together and really determine where are the areas of, you know, opportunity to improve upon that journey, or, you know, what's not working and what do we need to change. It's really hard. And so by having it all in one place, it's like simplifies. I can prove and show, you know, to clients exactly what's working and what's not, where we need to make the adjustment. So I don't know.
Well, you know what? Let's bring up one of those things, because out of these conversations, something that comes up every time, which, by the way, I love that they market to it, but Go High Level markets what I'll call lead notification. And all it is, I love these guys because this is what we got in the launch kit. They just got Twilio, which is a third-party service, integrated into the dashboard of your account with Go High Level. And there's a way that you could charge your client by like taking the price of your Twilio that you pay for, and you just like mark it up so you can have a slider, which is kind of clever, that lets you maybe charge an extra penny for every text message. But what it does for the customers, and they love this, is it's saying, look, I'm using Go High Level. I'm going to give you a basic billboard. And if anybody tries to reach out to you on the little doodad, the little chat doodad, and there's a bot option for that, which we can talk about, that it will immediately send you a text message. And the truth is, that's 100% absolutely what you could do out of the box today with LaunchKit using the Twilio plugin. And if you want, even using things like conversational forms with Fluent. So it's just a fact that they've made it a marketing tool that to the customer, it's like, whoa, I love this. But I'm suggesting that you don't need something like Go High Level to do that. It's just a service, just to prove my point. If we go here, Twilio WordPress, there's the service of Twilio, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of ways that it integrates directly with a plugin or otherwise through WordPress. We've got that integration already set up. What we use at WP Launchify, I want to also share, I actually do it a better way, because here's what happens. One of our clients who has Go High Level, the one who's sharing this with me, allowed me to interact with what they had set up with Go High Level, which was the interactive bot feature of this SMS. The bot lost its mind, and it started texting me passive-aggressive things. Now, anybody who is in the last 20 years used any kind of voice jail stuff understands what I mean. You go to a doctor's office, instead of somebody just saying, hey, what time do you want to come in? I'll look at the book. It's like, what kind of appointment do you want? Press 1, Dr. Smith, press 2. And you get really upset. Imagine that doing it where it's actually texting you as well. It made me very angry. Here's what I do. Here's what most people need for leads. This is essentially just a good old-fashioned, have a question. If I'm here, which I am, you can type, and it will immediately send me an email or send me a text. And because I'm using iPhone and Android, it natively shows on my screen. So it achieves 100% of the same goal. And if I want, I can do more like conversational questions. But the point is still, you can use this in WordPress using the Twilio plugin, using the Chatra plugin, SMS, email, whichever is your preferred method, so that as a customer, you get that information immediately that somebody's interested in your product or service. And furthermore, if you were to use WP Launchify like our call feature, this is also the LaunchKit solution. We've integrated this, and I showed this 2 Fridays ago, where you can choose, oh, I want to just schedule with you. This puts you in the CRM, sets you over to Calendly. It's all here. So you don't need a platform to do this. You can do this directly in a place you own and control.
Hey, Spence, there's a question about addressing ActiveCampaign.
Okay, right. So Dr. Kerry Krieger, who has got his own version of this going, Super Sites, has asked, would this all be as applicable for ActiveCampaign? Yeah, it would be. I will say the difference between ActiveCampaign and High Level is how they market it. Price-wise, there's also a big difference. So ActiveCampaign recently went on a bender and just massacred their customers, just massacred them. First of all, the cost of ActiveCampaign is not oriented towards agencies. It's really oriented towards like businesses. But if you just started with like the basic thing and you said, what would it cost you and what do you get? You used to get a pretty decent amount of value for 25, 30 bucks a month. Now that is not true, because they're charging an enormous amount of money when you grow your list, and they've broken up all the features into what I would like to suggest are a quite complicated grid and array of stuff. So the same problems of having any outside SaaS CRM exist. Now, I know Dr. Krieger also uses Fluent, and he's familiar. There are still some things about Fluent CRM that are a little rough around the edges. For example, if you're migrating somebody in from another CRM, some of the migration tools need a little hands-on love. But once they're in there, or if you're starting from scratch, I am 100% suggesting to anybody, there are almost no use cases where you need an outside CRM unless you've got, like I say, a pre-existing business, or you've got other relationships that are, hey, could I still do the thing you're doing on LaunchKit but use my MailChimp? Well, you could, but what I often teach, and we'll teach here, is there's also ways to convince those folks and help them to migrate off and be in a box. Okay. Great question, by the way. So let's go back to the main slide so we can get into the number 2, the CRM part. There are definitely differences in some CRMs to what Fluent can do if your business was high ticket selling. In other words, you're selling houses, you're selling $50,000 automobiles, you're selling timeshares in the Maldives. Okay. If it's not something that can be done by somebody independently browsing your website or reading your emails or watching your videos, there are probably tools that your sales team would want to have for doing what we call deal flow. And Entreport does that, Salesforce does it, HubSpot does that. But even then, those things can be done with a simple tool or tools in WordPress. It's just, there's a difference between salespeople on the phone, like, hey, almost like Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie, Wolf of Wall Street, like, hey, Mr. Johnson, we got $50,000 opportunity here. That's a different business model. HighLevel and LaunchKit are primarily focused on what we call automated CRM stuff, not deal flow. They're like tracking the user's self-led journey. So I think they both compete. But when it comes to actually the tools, let's just do a screen share because they both have equal powerful features. And honestly, they're oriented towards driving somebody from being a cold lead to a warm prospect to being a paid customer. So here, for example, you could create a sales funnel. I'm not going to sit here and do it, but like here, you could create a sales funnel, pick from templates just like we have, or, do blah, blah, blah. Here's my funnel. And then you can do all the automated steps. So in this case, you've got a sales funnel builder, and then you've got the ability to add tags. You have triggers, actions, conditions, goals. We have exactly the same thing over here, right? So we have inside of our setup, any page can be a sales funnel using launch flows and the product from WooCommerce. You can track anything in an automation or trigger it using Fluent CRM and the automation builder here. And again, very, very similar as far as the outcome. But here, we're going to talk about this again at the end of this. Here, if you create stuff that's awesome, there's a tool called snapshots and Go HighLevel. Here we're calling them patterns, but you could also just use the term snapshot. If you create awesome stuff here in LaunchKit, you can save it, share it, sell it, reuse it on any customer. And in fact, do that as a profit generating center, because let's say your customer comes in because they just need a simple site, but you say, you know what, I have a service for you. I can put in place an automated email follow-up sequence that is awesome, makes you money. People will pay you for that. And all you need to do is just import the file, just like you could do a Go HighLevel, except this one works on every single one of your existing WordPress sites. You don't have to connect anybody to a third-party service or put them in another dashboard. And Beth, I want to address this part with you because you and I met on this point. You have a focus in your business on helping people that are like less than zero technical skill. So speak to the conversation about somebody being taught to use one tool like the WordPress versus trying to teach them 2 tools to log into.
It becomes a challenge to teach them, and it becomes a frustration. So the frustration is like they give up, right? Because, oh my gosh, I could never do this. Or it's, oh my gosh, could I just pay you to do it for me because I don't understand it? Because they don't want to deal with that. But when it's simplified and it's pulled into one specific area, and I can say, here's the 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can take the screenshot. And like you mentioned before, adjust what the menu looks like, right? So they're only going into specific places. It guides them and it doesn't become so overwhelming. And the client then is like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. Some place where I just click to do this, I click to do this, and I click to do this, and I'm done.
I use the metaphor of like remote controls. I love that, by the way. So I have 2 simple remote controls. One is for Roku, Very simple, but quite a lot of power in there because the on-screen menu. This is for, I can't say her name, but Alexa, the Amazon thing. And this is even simpler. Now, when my mom comes by, I've used this metaphor. She comes by and she holds the remote control like this. For some reason, she puts her hand over the front of the remote where the infrared thing is. So it doesn't, I can't make this work. I love my mom, by the way, but still, I'm like, Mom, how do you break something as simple as a remote like this? She finds a way. So if you're going to teach somebody who's non-technical, doesn't it make sense? Like, honestly, it doesn't make sense. You can fix the WordPress site. You can get rid of everything distracting. You can save that and reuse it for all people who are customers of a similar age or demographic or tech skill level. Do you want to multiply that exponentially by having to teach them another thing on another site that you have less control over? Those are considerations for anybody running a business instead of focusing on the thing you're selling.
Right. But here's the other issue that's back to that remote kind of thing. So it's not only that, it's I can't tell you the number of emails. Now, where is it that I log in? What was my
Right.
password? Right. So
Which
now they have to
button turns
remember-
on HBO?
Right.
It's the one that says HBO right on the bottom.
So if it's one password, one login, or one login, one password into one place, oh my gosh, that alleviates the confusion of even where to go.
Right.
So-
Okay. So on a direct comparative, let's go back over here just to give like a sneak peek. I mean, when we're talking about, because again, we were talking about here like the CRM, but also we're going to talk about like landing pages and funnels. Like the tools are comparable at the base level. Like for the funnel, okay, great. Here's a funnel and I can start editing it. And I got to add steps and flows. Like, okay, that might be fine. I mean, you could probably teach people and, do various things, but just like ClickFunnels, just like some of the WordPress plugins that are competitors of my launch flows that have this whole other metaphor of flows with steps, you have to be teaching people how to do that. And then, by the way, here's their website option. And here, to make a website, you have to learn how to build a website using their website builder. Why would you do that? Especially if, let's say, you already had WordPress and you've got the simplicity of Cadence and you've got, like I've shown before, all these ready to go patterns, whether it's directly from Cadence or like we were talking about. We've got just a library of 1,000 different proven beautiful layouts that all you need to do is just literally copy the pattern code, paste it in place in WordPress into a new page, and give it a button or a link. So the simplicity factor is probably objectively based upon which thing you teach your customer, but instead of teaching them two things, you'd only have to teach them one thing. Once you've got that done, then it becomes how do you manage, package, resell the thing that you've got? Because again, I'm always talking about externalities. It's so much better with LaunchKit than normal WordPress and other SaaS because there's only two real externalities you need. Gateway for selling stuff like Stripe, SMTP for sending email out. After that, everything else could literally be in the box that's backed up, owned, controlled, duplicated, cloned, and even the content and the stuff that you teach, the courses, the lessons, the sales, you can make all of those products that you give away or that are for free that people just pour into that box, and you only have to teach them the one interface. So I'm going to say in this case, that's a significant difference, especially when the pricing, as we'll talk about, is not significantly advantageous for the SaaS. All right, I'm going to go to email marketing and newsletters. I have been having a good time this year. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Spence walking in the park. Hey, it's Spence. I'm on my walk. I decided that social media marketing today is too much work for me, but it's important to share something that builds audience understanding of what you're doing, what you're offering, what you're selling. And even if you don't feel that it's relevant, I'm telling you it's relevant, that as an implementer or as a business owner today, that's the only currency that you have, is the ability to go old school and be the face and the name of the solution you provide for people's pain. Because people have unlimited free or very inexpensive automated tools. The one thing they don't have is what you and I talk about all the time, right? Time and somebody to help them personally.
Right.
And so you will succeed following the advice I'm suggesting with a business as an implementer, even as a business who you're, let's say, the end user who's delivering the content or the training or even the service, like, you're a massage therapist, by having a personal relationship with your customers. And you do that by building a larger audience. We talked about that last week. Building a larger audience by having some interesting thing that talks to their pain. But when they come in, giving them a lead magnet, getting them on your list, tracking what they're interested in doing. And then newsletters is a big part of that. So maybe we should define that.
Yeah, it's also that component of not only just all the functionality of this, when you're talking about the social media or the newsletter or whatever it is, but it's that social and personal interaction, right? That you want to continue on with your clients or teach your clients how to make that personal connection.
So let's talk about a little bit of the strategy, and then we'll compare the tools. So this is one where it's really sort of tie goes to the runner, but we're back to the same thing. If you look at the tools that Go High Level offers, making an email newsletter or sending out automated emails individually or as a campaign, equally easy. I mean, honestly, they're equally easy. I go back to what I just referred to when it came to sales funnels and landing pages, though, that if you've got the tool already built into your WordPress, you don't need to do that through your CRM. If you wanted to do it for automation purposes, right, like conditionally sent emails or segmenting, again, you can build an unlimited list for no extra cost using Fluent CRM and LaunchKit. You have to pay for certain things up to a certain limit. Now, that's another point in favor of Go High Level, comparing it to Active Campaign or comparing it to other services. Remember the days of text messages? There were companies that in the early days used to get away with going, you could send a text message for only 27 cents or 26 cents. And there was 18 cents and 50. And eventually they all realized like they can't really compete on selling something that everybody understands should be zero. So it's just no longer a charge. But there was a time they would charge you for every text. Similarly, right now, the metric.
Spence.
Well, I'm 180 years old. People know that. I'm just on my 6th lap around 27. But the thing that's interesting today is in the email automation, I don't know why they think that's a good idea, but like Active Campaign dropped the hammer on people and like more than doubled or sometimes tripled or quadrupled the price. And you see their pricing for Salesforce, HubSpot, Infusionsoft, all of them. Most of them are based upon ever increasing prices as your list grows, which is really weird because you're penalizing the users for being successful on a metric that, let's be honest, it does not cost them more. I mean, hello. It does not cost them more based upon how many emails you send. They do not get charged for email sent. And the data rate for bandwidth, that's just so ridiculous because emails are like kilobits each. So let's just look at pricing for a second. If you go to Go High Level and their pricing, one of the things they do actually, I think, do well is, I don't know if there's the pricing, by the way, if there's a pricing link here, there's the lead, but I believe they do not charge you based upon the number of emails. Let's see, here we go. This is their own here. Email marketing, 99 monthly. I don't know if there's a limit on here. I apologize. Normally I have better access. They're very clever on not showing it, but I'll just say, so I don't get lost in this, I do not believe that they charge you like adding to the lists. Here's why. Because they know that your customers, here we go. They know that your customers are going to be building up stuff and they're oriented towards an implementer who's got like, I want to add. So their big sell is this unlimited, $297 a month. And it's essentially unlimited clients, unlimited sub accounts, pretty much like unlimited use. And I've been told from a good source, because they're smart, nobody ever even remotely comes close to the, because what happens is the implementers are like, oh, this sounds great. Everything I need in one, I'm going to pay $300 a month. They get 1 client, 5 clients, 7 clients. Each of those clients is doing a little here, a little there, and it's all good. So they make money, the client's happy, but they don't base it on like, how much am I going to charge you for every little text message you send and stuff. Let's just check this real quick. Hold on. Sub account. I see they don't really, I think again, I remember reading this, so I don't want to be sounding like I don't know what I'm talking about. The difference between this and say Active Campaign, if you go to the pricing of Active Campaign, it becomes very clear that you're being charged for how many people you've got on your list, and that starts to go up really quickly. And in fact, you have to find the slider somewhere that says how much it's going to cost you. They've kind of nicely hidden it now behind a thing, but I assure you, it goes very quickly. It starts at $149, and you could very quickly get into the hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month.
I think it's when you click the button, right?
Yeah,
And then it
let's see
asks
if you
you
can't
how
get
many people
started.
do you
If there's a
have. Yeah,
slider.
it doesn't say it here, and then it
Oh,
gets
here,
you
right.
into there
Here
you
you
go.
go. Watch this. $149 a month for 2,500 people, which, by the way, would be zero cost on LaunchKit platform. Let's slide it. 5,000, you're up to 200. 25,000. I'm not saying everybody gets there. Let's say 10,000. That's realistic for a lot of businesses. $339 a month for 10. So in other words, like they're charging you to just keep some bits and bytes inside of the hard drive, which I realize they have to have some metric. $800 a month. You're at $11,000 a year for just to keep the names and emails of your customers for you. Thanks, Active Campaign. Okay, I know I'm a little tongue-in-cheek because obviously somebody with 50,000 on the list might send out a ton of emails, but like you could go, for example, to SendGrid as your SMTP service that we recommend people do with LaunchKit, and the cost for 100,000 emails is $19 a month. Let's say you had 50,000 people on your list and you sent out 50,000 emails a month. Okay. You're still at $19.95. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no justification in them charging you $800 for 50,000 people. There's none, because the cost of that other companies make clear is not relevant. So I'm going to say tie goes to the runner as far as email marketing newsletters for creation. However, as we'll talk about when we come around the corner on this last one, do you want to grow a business or do you want your customers to grow a business? Let's say they succeed and get 5,000, 10,000, 20, 30,000 customers. Do you want that entire business and the whole ecosystem on a platform where essentially maybe Go High Level sells to Microsoft or something, and then all of a sudden the prices change like Active Campaign did, and boom, it's $10,000 a month, or worse, something goes bad and they decide to pull the plug on it, like so many Google companies have done, right? Why would anybody put themselves into that gilded cage when you can just choose to have your business primarily on WordPress? And okay, you could use the CRM of this, that, or the other company, but again, maybe you don't need to because the Fluent CRM does such a great job, right? Dr. Krieger is indicating SendGrid's 50,000 emails a month for $20, right? And then Amazon SES, if you want to go through the dating process, is $1 for 10,000 emails sent. Amazon SES is a great choice for high level, high profile, but they have a marriage, like a dating service. You have to prove yourself worthy of Amazon SES. Whereas with SendGrid, as long as your money is green, they'll take you. So a little harder. Let's talk about finally, and then we're going to talk about some of the pluses and minuses of both. Let's talk about courses, lessons, and quizzes. And again, I find this ironic because the industry leader, there's two of them in fairness, but the industry leader that we have built into the kit is LearnDash. Okay. LearnDash is owned by Stellar WP. We have obviously a lot of other products in here. Amazing, amazing stuff for making your courses, your quizzes, infinite amounts of possibility, all within the ecosystem of WordPress. You can create a library of courses and just share them amongst your clients. You can sell things to them where they have them on their own site as a starter. So many things to do. Now, I legitimately got the call this week, 2 days ago, with somebody who was saying, hey, like I suggested, hey, how can I make the courses do better or look better inside of Go High Level? And all tongue in cheek aside, I said, use LearnDash and WordPress, because it's just not easy. It's not easy to make stuff better when it's in a platform where their development team by themselves have to improve all these features. Whereas we have an open ecosystem of development inside of WordPress, and the people there have infinite resources. I'm not saying there's an unlimited number of developers, but there's literally, Justin Ferriman had sold, let's show the difference here. This is like when you're building stuff inside of, Go HighLevel, they do a really good job of, putting stuff in there, but their development team has to make everything. They've got to build it into their platform. Whereas in WordPress, we've got LearnDash, and there's probably 5,000 people working on LearnDash stuff, including the team at Stellar. And since LearnDash had millions of dollars spent on it before Justin sold it, it's a really awesome, mature product. Deeply integrates with all the other parts, like the marketing automation and the pages and the template. Like everything works together. And since you've got thousands of people improving it, all we're doing at LaunchKit is curating it out. We're taking and removing all of the distractions, like literally hiding everything from my, handing my mom the remote control with 3 buttons on it instead of that one from the cable company with 1,000 buttons on it. And so ask yourself that question, like, do you want to do the features of WordPress, like CMS and courses and affiliate? Do you want to do sales on a platform where you have no ownership and control and your client's going to have to figure it out? Or just do it in the thing you're already doing, which is WordPress? It becomes a really, really easy question to answer, I think, right? I wish I had a bell we can ring for that. That one for sure. Let's go to the next slide because I'm going to do I'm the first to admit, when I've done other shows and other locations with other people and we talked about products and comparisons, I'm really like saying it wouldn't be hard for anybody to guess what I'm recommending, right? But in fairness of all the CRMs, and this is a compliment to Go HighLevel, Go HighLevel is like what LaunchKit is if you didn't have WordPress. In other words, we have WordPress. We can make all the benefits we're going to list here. But if you didn't have WordPress and you needed to put it into a platform, I cannot say anybody has done a better job. And their pricing and marketing is amazing because everybody is doing exactly what let's just go to one other slide. They're doing exactly what we're talking about and we're doing. It's $97 a month to start, and then you can go up from there for your agency. Now, we're going to talk about what that means for us with the LaunchKit to go. But we're in a world of relationships. And so for $97, just about everybody under the sun is like, I'm in for that. Okay. And there's no hidden costs if you go to an unlimited plan, or even they've got this pro thing where I think it's like $600 or $500 a month. And, you can do more. And we're doing the same thing with WP LaunchKit, right? The core thing is essentially, starting at $97 a month. I offer other things on top of it, including personal service, but let's also talk about, we offer things below that, such as the LaunchKit to Go plugin, which is right over here for $47. Now, what does this mean for an agency? Let's talk about in terms of a couple business things, and then we'll go back to this other slide here. So in terms of the pricing model, you and I have been discussing, and I've been talking about for months and months, years now, that we're in a world where with endless choices, people aren't going to pay you for your software. Even in WordPress, they're not going to pay you for your cool SaaS platform. They're going to pay you for solving their pain and saving them time and giving them a personal relationship. And so to that end, if you go to things like G2, which by the way is a good source for anybody, if you go to G2 and you read the reviews, there's nothing in there about LaunchKit, of course, because we're not in that space. But if you go to G2 and you read about Go HighLevel, gets really high reviews, but there are some folks that talk about some of the downsides, right? Like they're growing fast, and sometimes it's like you get stuck with things that you can't necessarily get done, or they get stuck with surprise cost, or the support didn't get back to them in a million years and whatever. Now, what's the difference between that and WordPress? Well, in general, in WordPress, there's 80 million people you can talk to about anything in the LaunchKit platform. So if Spence and Beth happen to be on a beach in Ibiza, you could always reach somebody or know that the actual stuff inside of WordPress is accessible to you to turn it on, turn it off, have somebody help you. But just for myself, for you, for supporting it, my entire business has been built on being available to solve problems and immediately getting back to people. Because what I am selling you is not LaunchKit as the software. I'm selling you LaunchKit as the service, the curation, the expertise. It's like a productized version of the consulting thing that I would normally have charged $300 an hour for. So you can press a button and get going. So it's worth considering the benefits of LaunchKit versus HighLevel. By the way, Chris is in the house. Good morning. The 100% ownership and control, the infinite help available, endless flexibility. So I want to talk about that in a second. I'm going to come right back to it. And millions of users of the actual components. The LaunchKit platform in the 3 forms that we're selling it: fully hosted, LaunchKit to go plugin. So it's 97, 47, or what we're deciding, LaunchKit instant solutions. Those are businesses created with the LaunchKit platform that for like $27, you can just bop on and you've got something you can sell to a client for $97 a month plus $300, $1,200, $2,400 to set up. That's it. The software is open source. We're not selling you the software. You're getting the software, but you're getting the software curated, where when we originally started, when this flexibility, number 3, comes up, originally I was thinking we're going to offer this in a platform where you cannot change your plugins as the implementer. And what I realized is implementers are very smart. Agency owners are smart. Even end users are very smart. So instead, we now do it where you can change it, but we still ask you to swear on a stack of Fortnite cards that you won't unless we talk about it. Because the second that you go off the ranch and start adding random stuff in, instead of saying, hey, Spence, hey, Beth, I'd like to do this thing. Can you build that into my stack of automatically updated stuff? As soon as you change what's in your ingredients box for one little thing, you've lost 100% of the standardization value. Kind of like if you went to IKEA and you know how all their stuff has the same, everything assembles with an Allen wrench. If you all of a sudden used like a flathead screwdriver connector, all of a sudden everybody who would use that needs a flathead screwdriver instead of that Allen wrench that's included in every kit. Okay. And so far this has worked amazing, because the other part of that is the flexibility of how do you want to do this. So the benefit of the LaunchKit solution, the platform, is not in the hosting. We do offer it hosted for those who, look, I'm just using it. I need to be hosted anyway, and it's set up and ready to go. But for mature implementers, for agency owners, like many of our audience today, they want the option of just give me the thing that's hard for me. I need the curated software. I need you to keep managing the thing as a platform and support me and support the ideas and keep doing cool stuff, so that I'll build stuff on top of that, knowing that everybody, including myself, is doing the same things. We've all got essentially the same Lego blocks. And in doing that, that's when we get the third option. Then we get all these cool instant solutions that we can offer, our customers can offer. Melissa Love 2 weeks ago had shown how, she's got these cadence patterns that will work directly with us. Everybody can build cool stuff in the same way like Canva. There's people selling Canva templates for business on Etsy. Now, let's compare it real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Go HighLevel has a certain amount of interesting similarities, but in a much smaller ecosystem. So it's a locked-in platform. You cannot deny that if you put one client and they have 1,000 customers in there, if something happens to that Go HighLevel account or business, you have 0 options, 0. Whereas with WordPress and LaunchKit or otherwise, self-hosted or our platform, you have hourly backups and you have all your data that's typically available in 3 different spots. And if anything were to ever go wrong, Spence decides not to come back from Ibiza. Okay, great. You got your stuff. Just take it and put it in another box and you're off to the races in literally 4 minutes. You can't do that at Go HighLevel. If you put yourself and your clients in there and something goes wrong, they change their mind, the prices go bad, their servers go down. That's not likely to happen, but let's just say it could happen. your 50 or 100 clients are going to be looking to you as the source of all of their revenue going bad. Number 2, paid help on the platform. Where are you going to go for personal concierge help over there? There's nobody there doing personal phone calls with you. There's probably a few consultants now because the platform has gotten bigger, but you're not going to get the kind of personal relationship or hands-on or videos or help that you are going to get directly from us and or anybody who's a WordPress implementer, because that's what I think this ecosystem is going to be. Taking all these experts and cadence and whatever and focusing everybody's attention on the same fixed set of stuff. Only platform features. This is a little harder one to quantify because like Shopify has this. Shopify is a platform. You cannot change what's in Shopify. There are add-ons that developers have built that work with it through the REST API. Extraordinarily expensive. And you have to essentially then get into a relationship with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different add-on developers to help customize the Shopify platform. Similarly with Go HighLevel, I don't know, there's add-ons and integrations, but you can't just suddenly get something. Chris points out you can get Zoom support for any problems platform related. And that's actually a great response because let's compare LaunchKit to Go or LaunchKit the platform. What are we selling? For the $97, what you're getting is unlimited email support and always have access to personal support if necessary a la carte, meaning like getting into a Zoom call. But what's the difference between what we're offering here versus them? They are not going to give you business advice. They are not going to give you advice on here's some things that 100 other clients use. They're going to give you advice on, is there something wrong with the features of the platform? And I think it's a small difference, but it's useful because what I found over the years is that, like I said, people aren't paying me for the software. They're saying, hey, Spence, I got this business. Can you help me figure out how to just set this business up? Or if you feel you have a different experience. I don't believe, based upon things like, again, lots of positive, but seeing things on G2 like customer support, that doesn't lead me to believe that there's experts in running businesses on the Zoom calls giving advice on how to set stuff up. Chris says, Chris, by the way, awesome. Thank you for this. Business advice comes from the Facebook group and someone selling you into their membership or coaching program. That price ends in a 7, which is also good news. Chris, is it 2 digits with a 7, 3 digits with a 7, 4 digits with a 7? How many digits go before the 7? Because we do the same thing. I mean, let's be fair about it. When you're going over here to me at WP Launchify, built in to the basic idea is you start at $97 and you get the whole thing. But notice I take my $300 an hour and I discount it 33%, and you get 1 hour of support right here built into the success plan for a third less. Or you can do the 2 hours, which is normally $600, for only $400 more. So he says it's 2 digits before. So, it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 197. But the idea is it's comparable because hands-on personal business help is very, very particular to the individual. He says, and this is true too, I think that the Go HighLevel is a lot of takeaway from ClickFunnels. So ClickFunnels has made an amazing, amazing thing happen. It's made mainstream the idea of funnels. But if you look at their setup, it's very similar here. Monthly plans, $147 a month, 1 website, all these weird limits, 20 funnels. Most people just go to the $297. But what they're selling at ClickFunnels versus, let's say, Go HighLevel is, look, the person's on the stage. They have the 2 Comma Club award or the 3 Comma Club award. Nobody really talks about the software because the software is actually pretty mediocre. They don't even have like built into it some of the stuff that you get at the lower level CRMs. Okay, so, and then finally, just to wrap this up, the community is healthy, but you can't compare WordPress's community to anything else. I mean, I just came back from WordCamp in Maryland, but like 45 to 50% of the internet runs WordPress. You will drown in WordPress related interaction with human beings. When you have a smaller platform, you're at the mercy of who's the nice person there, who's the one, that's available. Okay. I think we did pretty good today. We're rounding the corner. I appreciate, by the way, all the input from everybody. Let's kind of like round out our slide deck here. Chris, thank you for the help. Carrie, thanks for the input. What we're saying is today, of the SaaS CRM options, especially ones oriented, Go HighLevel is awesome. Either one of these, LaunchKit or Go HighLevel, are for eliminating your frustration. I'm suggesting it's simpler to go with LaunchKit. I'm obviously biased, but the idea is you already have a car with all the features in it that you own and control. You can do everything you need to. You have none of the liabilities. You have the ability to teach one thing to all your customers. Why do you need two? And why do you need two when it increases your expenses? The features that they sell on are 100% available inside of LaunchKit with WordPress, so you're not missing anything. The thing about WordPress that we agree and talk about all the time is that people need to stop tinkering and going to the WordPress flea market every Sunday and buying new stuff that they try to install under the hood of their car or whatever. They need you to say, leave that to the capable hands of Spence and Beth. I'm going to stick with this, either the platform or the to-go. And let me relate a conversation, because I was speaking with Chris yesterday about this. I demonstrated for him live the LaunchKit to Go plugin. And what it essentially does is it allows you to take any WordPress site on any host. You install the LaunchKit plugin. Currently, we give you the plugin, but it's in the repository. So you'll be able to just pop it in, ready to go. You just turn it on, put in the license key for that client or yourself, and you press one of three buttons. One is just to install essentially the Cadence theme in WooCommerce. Two would be to install selectively any or all the plugins. And three would be to install, do you want to start with our basic, blank pattern or snapshot, or do you want to put your own in if you're selling stuff? We timed it yesterday, and Chris can type this. It started at 6 minutes to the, it was like 1:56. When the clock went to 2, 4 minutes later, it was done. And Chris, who is a very smart individual, was like, oh my God, exactly what I need. Because this scratched my personal itch of how difficult it was not to do one site, but what if I have 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 customers and I want to offer them the same stuff? Setup first is easy, but what do I do? How do I keep them up to date? How do I automate them? How do I make sure that all the nuanced things I want to have happen? This makes it easy. And I want to show one thing too. I'm going on a little bit of a road. Last night, I was just inspired by some stuff, and I want to show you something that I did. I did a video about this morning. So one of the things I was demonstrating earlier is how, we've got ready-made patterns, but because we're working with WooCommerce as the transactional engine, I wanted to see, is it possible? Let's zoom this down a little bit. Is it possible to build a custom My Account area that has all of the WooCommerce components, but to do it entirely without a special plugin? In other words, the ability to use the tab component from Cadence, because then I have total control. And again, this is a great example of how the LaunchKit platform will work. I was able to write some software that'll be included in the LaunchKit platform. It'll be in the Launch Flows plugin as well. That makes it possible for anybody to do essentially a custom My Account tabbed area without an extra plugin. And now what does that mean? That means that now you have a component that can be saved and reused, that you can do anything you want, add anything you want, customize any way you want using just the same tools as the rest of your website. And now you could either use it, reuse it, sell it, do anything you want with it into the same ecosystem of your customers and others, because this is the kind of control you have. And this is the kind of creativity that can happen when you got somebody like me at the top of this going, look, there's a million rough edges around. Let's keep polishing them, but we're making them objectively open for anybody to use. Chris added, thank you for that. Launching a brand new client site with everything connected in under 5 minutes. And then we just change the text, images, and copy. Easily shaved 75% off of his build time. I'd like to quote him on that. Hopefully Chris will give me one of those cards of something to that effect so I can share it on Twitter. Everything starts with a free call. So if you're curious about the LaunchKit solution, again, free call, free demo. You can try it risk-free. It's 97 hosted, 47 in the to-go. You can add any kind of instant solution for $27 on top of it. Beth and I have been talking. We're also going to start live classes. These will be a paid extra. Do you want to talk a little about this? But like what we're thinking about is we're going to do, it's essentially one payment of $297 or 3 payments of $97. It will have 4 classes. So it's 2 weeks long. It's very Ryan Lee, by the way. We're borrowing off of Ryan, who I was talking to the other day about this. We're going to do 2-hour classes a week for 2 weeks. And it's going to be for people who essentially will get 3 months of the hosted solution from day one. And we will walk through all of the awesome parts of setting this up for yourself or whatever. So you essentially pay nothing for the live training.
Yeah, it's very much of a in developing and starting to work on it. It's very hands-on and step by step, really clear, like A, B, C, D. And here's where it is. Here's what you do it. So yeah.
Right. So the idea is we want to pack this with value. So in terms of what you can do, start with a free call. And if we do the free call, obviously you get all the personal attention and demo, and we can get you going. If you go with the to-go plugin, or if you go with the hosted one, it's 100% money back guarantee for the first month. So like literally there's nothing you can lose. And if you stick around, it's always available to go. Everything you build on the site or with the plugin is yours to keep. So you literally can just do it for 1 month and leave. You can do it for a year. You can do discounts of service or add-ons, because what we're selling is the ongoing curation, access to the community, and the support. We're selling the things that open source really amount to. So we don't end up with this really ridiculous, ironic, we're charging you for 50,000 names in the database and disincentivizing you. I want to incentivize you to succeed and come back and plant a bunch of seeds in this ecosystem of everybody using LaunchKit. So your awesome idea is something I can promote and show is built with LaunchKit under the hood. And that way we can solve the bigger problem of WordPress, because we show it as a true service that makes sense from day one, instead of everybody showing up at the flea market on a Sunday and being confused. So head on over to launchkit.com or wplaunchify.com, either way, and give it a try. And I want to say thank you to everybody. I think today went reasonably well. I'm obviously wired up on my sponsored Orgain chocolate shake with, no, I'm kidding. But the thing is, I'm really excited that this is something that's been years in the making, and certainly in the last couple of months, but you and I together in the last 3 months, it's not only gelling, but we've put on, over 50 people onto the platform who are early adopters who really gave great feedback. And we realized where all of the rough edges were. We figured out something that right now is holding water in the real world. And people have been giving me amazing feedback publicly about, like, Spence, this is so obvious. Why hasn't anybody done it? And I'll tell you why. Number one, the politics of WordPress needs somebody, I think, in my position, who is immune from any of the politics of a fearless leader or anything else. Number two, somebody who can cross the boundaries with the software authors by both understanding what the best things are of their plugins and software, but also making them understand there is a future marketplace here for them to make more money, but not through the old-fashioned way of selling licenses. Nobody wants to have 24 licenses with 24 different vendors anymore, because all it ends up with, like, every company makes a part for your car pointing the finger, it's not my problem. They just want to make cool stuff, and ultimately they will share in this revenue stream because more people are using their software, but it's going to come through a new model, kind of an aggregation model. And number three, it's that this is really an old game. I mean, I still have my first computer here. I still use it. It's a little old-fashioned, but all jokes aside, what we found is that the business today, with infinite amounts of technical stuff, is about relationships with people. And now it's like suddenly people get, it could be super simple. I could just be like an average Tom, Dick, or Susie, and I can just sell knowledge that's 2 steps ahead of my baking club or my parents club or, my yoga something, to friends and family and people I know, because they'll pay me just to connect it all together with this easy to go kit. Chris had one last thing and then we're going to say goodbye. Renewal periods are the worst, especially when going US dollars to Canadian. Because of Black Friday, he gets slammed in November and December. That's a great point too. I want to point out one last thing. Beth, you and I talked about this. Beth herself, I'll let you speak to this, prefers the first model, which is she prefers where the clients actually buy directly from us, and then she gets on the $97 platform, $15 back, but she feels comfortable with us doing all the hosting. Some people, Chris and Dr. Krieger and everybody else, prefer to own their own hosting, and they just want to use the to-go plugin. And let's talk about that for a second, because when you do it where you do it in the first model, we take the money and it's like an affiliate, but with a flat fee. So it's like $180 a year for nothing more than the referral. And then you sell your service. In the second model, you essentially buy the license and you mark it up. You know, you charge $47 cost, you charge $97 or $147 for that thing, and the clients are fine. What's your thought on that, Beth? Why do you like the idea of putting people on the platform directly instead?
Well, because my business model when I'm working with clients is all about the courses, and being a curriculum designer developer, my relationship with my clients is really about building that course, getting it into a website, getting that all set up. So it's very relationship build it. What am I trying to say? It's very much built on a relationship more than the technology piece of it. And so for me, having all of that taken care of so I can focus in on what my expertise is, is much easier. And it's easier for my clients too, right? When they're done, I'm done, they're off and running, it's all taken care of. But that's a unique niche that I have, and it's not for everybody. But for me, it alleviates that one additional step of monitoring their site, doing the updates, all of that. And then it's just, I turn it over to the client.
It was interesting because that's what led to the LaunchKit to go becoming pushed out faster. So you bring up a really, really great point, which is the technology stack itself is a commodity. We just talked about that. However, the fixed cost, even if you do something like rocket.net, or even if you put them into a shared server, it's probably a minimum of $5 to $10 a month per tenant, per client. So if, let's say, for example, you're doing your own hosting, you're $5 to $10 cost, but then you have all the responsibility of running it, versus what you very clearly said, and we've talked about. You want to just focus on the thing that you're really being paid for, which is setting up the stuff and doing the business part, not the thing it's built on. So you don't want to be metaphorically in the text messaging service business. You want to be in I'm going to show you how to do a marketing solution where text messages are part of the thing, but it's not the primary focus. Other people, including, again, like Dr. Krieger and Chris, are professional agencies, and they already have these great setups. They want to have a team of people where they don't want to pay them, even with the discount of $15, they don't want to pay $82 per site. They would rather take that, get paid directly. And I love that, because to be honest, it's not that much of a profit difference for me selling the 47 to go where there's no email support for it, versus doing the hosted where I take on all that responsibility and the overhead and I got to support it. I kind of prefer that the agencies just get every client on a $47 license. And that's awesome, because that's what I think our superpower is. Is all these clever things, like an example here today. Like, is anybody else out there just like taking the tools in a stack and making cool stuff from those tools? No, everybody is a plugin author making plugins and then infinitely trying to sell you more individual plugins. And that's like, hello, we're trying to say we've got the stack we need of raw ingredients, and we're improving what's in that box so that the value proposition in that box is higher, even if you've otherwise paid no more money. Okay, I think that's enough. We're at 1:14. Thank you, everybody, today. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, everyone who's watching this. I encourage you to go to wplaunchify.com. I encourage you to go over to WP LaunchKit. Also, I'm going to throw in a real quick one. You can head on over to spencerforeman.com and you click on latest content. And that's where you're going to get all the latest stuff, because I am online with lots of different people all day long, every day of the week. And I would like you to also get on the mailing list so you can learn more, because we do use our own tools, sending out great information. I'm available on social media at Spencer Foreman as well. You can see the links here at the top. I think today was a great experiment that we'll probably continue on with. And also just the heads up, the LaunchKit to Go plugin is available, the initial platform, of course. And we've also got some of these solutions like the Parents Club and Massage Studio. We've got a football club. We've got a color baked solutions ready to go. So all this is rocking. And I'd love you to join. If you want, set up a free call to talk, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye, doggy.
Everybody.
Where's your doggy? Bye-bye.
Well,
Let's go. Let's go for a walk.
I sent them out because.
Oh, I thought I was going to get this.
Oh, wait, here they come. So.
Let's go for a walk. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Nope.
Cooper's outside.
No luck today. All right, next week I'll try. I'll see you guys. Bye.